Marphil had the fluffiest, poofiest, most wonderfully wild hair you've ever seen on a little fox. It bounced when he walked. It wiggled when he laughed. And it flopped right over his eyes whenever he tried to spot a butterfly. But one morning, Dad looked at Marphil's hair and smiled a very specific kind of smile. The kind that means something is about to happen. "Marphil," said Dad, "today's the day we visit Marco the barber." Marphil froze. He'd heard about barbers. They had scissors. Big, shiny, snip-snip scissors. "What if it hurts?" Marphil asked. Dad knelt down so they were nose to nose. "It doesn't hurt one bit," he said. "I promise. And I'll be right there the whole time." Marphil wasn't totally sure. But he trusted Dad. They walked down the sunny street together, Dad's big warm hand wrapped around Marphil's little paw. Marphil noticed the bakery, it smelled like cinnamon rolls. He noticed the pigeons, they were arguing over a cracker. He noticed everything except his worry, because Dad kept pointing things out and making him giggle. And before Marphil even realized it, they were there. The barbershop had a red and white spinning pole outside. Inside, it smelled like something warm and clean, like soap and a little bit of adventure. Marco the barber was a big cheerful bear with a bright white apron and a comb tucked behind his ear. "Well, hello there," Marco said, his voice booming like a friendly thundercloud. "You must be Marphil. I've been looking forward to meeting you." Marphil looked around. There were bottles of all different colors on the shelf. A big mirror that showed everything. A funny-shaped chair that looked a little like a race car. And in that chair right now was another kid, a small rabbit, who was laughing while Marco snipped away. The rabbit didn't look scared at all. Marphil watched very carefully. When the rabbit hopped down, he had the neatest little haircut Marphil had ever seen. "Did it hurt?" Marphil whispered. The rabbit shook his head. "Nope. And Marco let me pick the chair color," he said, and bounced right out the door. Marco winked at Marphil. "Your turn, little fox. Want to sit in the blue chair or the red one?" Marphil thought about it very seriously. Blue, he decided. Marco lifted Marphil up into the big blue chair. It really did feel a little like a race car. Marco clipped a soft cape around Marphil's shoulders, it was blue with little stars on it. "This is your superhero cape," Marco said. "Every great haircut starts with one." Marphil looked in the mirror. He saw a small fox in a star cape, and he sat up just a tiny bit straighter. Dad pulled a chair right up next to Marphil and sat down. "I'm not going anywhere," Dad said, giving Marphil's paw a squeeze. Marco picked up a spray bottle and misted Marphil's fluffy hair with a little cool water. It felt kind of nice, actually. Like a tiny rain shower just for him. "Ready?" Marco asked. Marphil took a deep breath. "Ready," he said. Snip. 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 The scissors were quick and light, like a tiny bird hopping through his fur. Marphil could hear them, but he couldn't feel anything sharp at all. Just a soft, gentle tickle. Marco hummed a little song while he worked, and Dad told Marphil a silly story about the time Dad got his very first haircut and accidentally sneezed so hard his hat flew off. Marphil giggled so much he could barely sit still. Marco worked carefully around Marphil's ears, those little round fox ears that stuck up like two fuzzy triangles. "Hold very still for just a moment," Marco said softly. Marphil held his breath. 1, 2, 3. "Perfect," said Marco. Marphil let out a big whoosh of air. That was the part he'd been most nervous about. And it was fine. It was completely, totally fine. Marco set down the scissors and picked up a soft little brush, the kind that looks like a tiny broom. He swept it gently across Marphil's neck and ears to brush away any loose fluff. It tickled so much that Marphil burst out laughing. "The brush gets everyone," Marco said, laughing too. Even Dad was laughing. The whole barbershop felt warm and bright and full of good sounds. Then Marco spun the chair, slowly, gently, so Marphil was facing the big mirror. And Marphil saw himself. His hair was neat and tidy and still wonderfully fluffy, just perfectly shaped now. His ears showed. His eyes showed. He looked like himself, but like a very polished, very ready version of himself. He tilted his head left. He tilted it right. He grinned the biggest grin. "What do you think?" Marco asked. "I think," said Marphil slowly, "that I look really, really good." Dad put his hand on Marphil's shoulder and squeezed. "You were so brave today," Dad said. And Marphil thought about that. He hadn't felt brave. He'd felt scared, and then curious, and then a little ticklish, and then just fine. Maybe that's what brave actually is. Marco unclipped the star cape with a little flourish. "Same time next month?" he asked. Marphil hopped down from the chair and stood up very straight. "Yes please," he said, and he meant it. On the way home, Marphil walked a little taller. The sun felt warmer. The pigeons were still arguing over that cracker. But now Marphil noticed something else too. He felt proud. Really, truly proud of himself. That night, Marphil looked in the bathroom mirror one more time before bed. He thought about the star cape, the blue race car chair, the tickly brush, Dad's hand on his paw. And he thought, next time, I won't even be nervous. Well, maybe just a little. And that's okay too. Because a little nervous just means something new is about to happen. And new things? They usually turn out pretty great.